All right, let's. I think I'm gonna get the 190 or the 190. Pfft, that's a peasant motor. I'm about to get the 220. It ain't even 220. Jeez, it's been a long day. I'm about to get the 212 in the CT. First, I gotta pull the 140 out, so I'm gonna get the cherry picker out. If I gotta find some ratchet straps, I'm gonna hang the bike from that. We'll do it that way. If I can get this thing out. Everything's cranked. No drinking for me tonight though. Today's Wednesday. I was gonna do this last night, but I got tore up last night, so. Alright, we got her hung up. I'm gonna get the 140 out and out of the way, and then I'll drain the shipping oil out of the 190, or the 212, and I'll do the valve adjustment and everything before we put it in. Alright, so update. I had no idea the 17 tooth front sprocket was on this thing this whole time. I thought this whole summer it was a 16 tooth. But I just found like 3 16 tooth sprockets in my drawer and like 2 15 teeth. I had an 18. I think I gave it to Billy or somebody, but I wanted to put that on, so I'm going to order one. But the 17's been on this thing the whole time, the whole summer. I had no idea. So that's kind of confusing to me. Thought it was 16 the whole time. But maybe that's why it's been feeling kind of like sluggish and forth this whole year, but anyways, I'm gonna get the sprocket off, the chain off, and get the motor out. So here's what we're dealing with. Man, I feel bad because I'm wearing gloves, but they're super dirty already. I'm getting my camera like filthy, and I take really good care of this camera. Anyways, let's see if we can get this thing to. Probably not. Either way, let me see. Well, it ain't gonna focus because it's too close to this camera apparently. But this is a 17 tooth, and of course, while I was at the hardware store or whatever, I completely forgot to get any kind of like parts cleaner, brake cleaner, or anything to clean anything up. So I'm just gonna do it in bowl and built fashion and just put rusty shit, crusty, gooey stuff all over the bike. But oh well. All right, I'm gonna get the carb off, and then disconnect the fuel line, the wiring, and drop this baby out. Alright, I think I got everything hooked. Took like 5 minutes. I bought new motor mount bolts from the hardware store, but they didn't have 115 millimeter length, so I think I got like 110. And they're definitely, the ones I bought are shorter than the ones I just took out. So I might have to see if they fit on my CRF or not. If they don't, it's not a big deal. Hopefully they do. But we'll see. Alright, there's old faithful, old reliable sitting there. So she's out. Now I'm just going to get the 190. Jesus, it's not a 190, it's a 212. I'm going to get the 212 prepped. I'm going to drain the oil. I'm going to set the valves. I'm going to fill it with oil. And then the 17 tooth sprocket does fit on there, but it almost looks like that's as big as I'm going to be able to go on that motor. There's a little part somewhere right in the casing that looks like it's pretty close to 17 already, so that might be my only option. I might have to just go smaller in the rear. But, so that's ready. The 140 is ready to go on the CRF. I think the motor mount bolts I bought from the hardware store will fit on that. If not, I'll have to stop again tomorrow and grab some longer ones. I wanted to put new ones in the CT because they're kind of old, and I just like putting fresh bolts in things. But I might have to use those same ones again because they are longer. And I'd rather put this together with correct bolts than the CRF because I don't care. I'm not going to be on the street with the CRF. But another thing, loosen your swing arm bolt. Just got to loosen it. If you don't, your motor will not come out or go in very smooth. It is a pain. It kind of squeezes it in the frame, so always loosen that. other than that, she drops right out. So I guess we'll start tearing into the 212 and getting the oil drained and foot pegs put on, valves adjusted, that kind of thing. So, well, this is a little thing I do. I don't know if anybody else does it this way, but I just put the jack stands right in the oil pan, prop her up. Get all that gross oil out of there. Let that drain for a bit. I'll shake it around, get it all out. Okay, this is actually pretty interesting, and I did not know this. So here is the 212, well, the 190 bottom end, with the electric start chain, the motor, all that, with the cover off. Here's the Piranha. So the cover actually holds whatever, the stator, all that stuff is housed in that. So when I went to pull the cover off, it was all like, I felt like a magnet, and I thought it broke, because it looks like there's threads here, which is probably for the flywheel, and there's threads in here, and I thought I broke it, but all the wiring and stuff is on the outer case, which is kind of neat. I did not know that. So I think it's the same concept as that, just reversed, which is kind of neat, but it freaked me out for a second. But yeah, so I just wanted to get a good look at this with the cover off. Oil's still draining. I flushed a little bit of fresh oil through it, and that's still draining out, so I'm still kind of waiting for that. Then we'll pull the front cover off, and we'll get the valves set. Gotta pull the spark plug out and stuff yet, and figure out where all the timing marks on this thing are, because it's all pretty new to me still, so I'm gonna have to find timing marks and stuff like that, so I'm gonna look for that quick. Okay, another super interesting thing that I had no idea about, I had to figure it out kind of on my own. I had this cover off, the side cover, and I was trying to find the timing marks for the flywheel. Like on this one, obviously there's a notch right there for top dead center. It's super easy. This one didn't have any notches, but I was wondering what these plugs were for. So I took the top one off, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but when that threads out, there's a little line right there, and that's how, see if I can show you. You look down in there, and you match up the top dead center line with that little notch in the threaded piece. And then, sorry, this is going to be all shaky. The side cover also has a plug that comes out right there. So this is the side cover plug. This is the plug on the top, little flatheads or whatever. That one is where you stick your, what size was it? Let me check. I think it's a 12, 14. That's where you stick your 14 in and turn the crank to line it up. So you don't even have to take the side cover off to time this thing, which is actually pretty cool. I was like, I already had the post written out and a picture ready for the CT70 modders group asking where the timing marks were. And I was about to click post until I pulled that plug off and realized that's how it works. So I had no idea. I think it's pretty cool though. You don't have to pull the cover off no more to do the timing. You just got to pull that front cover off to get to the valves. That's it. And that's super easy too, because it's just one big cover. There's not, one on top, one on the bottom, and you get to get all underneath the bike and stuff. So that's actually really neat. So I'm glad I figured that out before I posted it. So that's pretty neat, I think. It makes things a lot easier. Pull two covers off, time it, do all that stuff versus, pulling a cover off and all that junk. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, I'm getting ready to adjust the valves. I gotta find I don't even know where my feeler gauges are, honestly. I put them somewhere. I'll have to find those quick. I'm gonna do the valves, and then this thing will be ready to go in. I don't know what I'm gonna do with wiring yet, because this has a plug that plugs into the harness that came with it. But my bike already has just the bullets that would go to these wires. So I don't know if I'm going to tear the whole bike apart, throw the new wire harness in my bike, and use the old one out of my bike for my CRF, or pull these pins out, put bullets on them, or whatever these things are called, bullet connectors, repin them, and then just plug them in like that. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I don't know if I'm going to get to the wiring tonight. It's already 7 o'clock. I've only got the motor out of the CT, and this thing, it'll just be prepped and ready and maybe in. I want to get it in at least, but I don't think I'll be wiring it up or starting it anytime tonight. But progress is progress, so we'll get as far as we can before I get too tired. But I'm gonna keep working at it. So, all right. I don't know how much you're gonna be able to see because my hands will probably be in the way. I have top dead through here perfectly on. The cam is at top dead. On this motor, these are 10 mil. I don't flip this thing over off the jack stands. So you want to crack these loose. My valves are so tight, I just looked that the valves are actually open right now. They're not even shutting because they are set so tight, which is what happens when they throw these things together. They don't set it. So you want to twist these out until you have play. So you got these loose. You want to take your feeler gauge, slide it in there, turn this until it's snug, and you got a little bit of drag, and it's tricky because you have to tighten this nut, and when you tighten this nut, it's going to spin your adjustment a little bit every time, so you might have to go back and adjust it a few times. So, still top dead. That's actually perfect first try, as long as I can get it tight enough without flipping this thing over. Alright, so that one, that's done. So now we'll do 0.05 on the exhaust. Slide the 5 in there, and that's perfect. So we'll just crank it on a little bit tighter. I don't know if these are the right numbers for this, but just tight. Check one more time. Feels good. Just a little bit of drag. And that's it. Valves are adjusted. They're all taken care of. So, seal her back up. Drop it a little bit, see where we're at. I want to make sure I don't pinch that tube. Alright, that was actually super smooth, that went easy. Both motor mount bolts are in. So motor's in. Officially at this point. Get the crate out of there. I gotta pull the foot pegs and stuff off the 140 yet. All that jazz. It's crazy because from when I started pulling the motor out of this bike and getting this one prepped and ready, I haven't even finished the full beer yet. Like, that's how much I've been working and non-stop. That's when you know that I'm excited. Because normally I take beer breaks pretty often. So that's when you know I'm excited. And I'm out of breath from wrestling these motor mounts in. But there's the fresh 212 in the crusty frame. It looks good. I don't see the bolts for it, so we're just going to put these on for now until I can find them. And that's it. So I think that's all I'm going to do tonight. Motor's in. 140's out. Not even going to put it on that frame tonight because I need to go buy longer bolts for motor mounts. But she's in.